Good afternoon and welcome to Seattle's Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Dan Edwards with Keller Williams here in Bothell, and my co-host, Mr. Tucker Maxwell with Guild Mortgage. Welcome back after a summer hiatus.
Yes, thank you so much, Dan. How are you?
I'm doing great. We were just kind of chatting. I figured we'd bring the public in on this. We finished the last week of summer in style. I took a trip over to Winthrop. Have you ever been to the North Cascades?
I have. Fantastic.
Yeah. It's funny. I've lived, here all my life, and I've never taken that Mountain Loop Highway trip. And it's actually so close. Like it's really not that far away because you just hit Arlington, take a right, and the next thing you know, you're in, I would say, one of the most undiscovered parts of Washington State, where it's like there's hardly any people there. I could have spent weeks and weeks up there. I guess they introduced the grizzly bears back. They added some grizzly bears, so that's fun. You get to dodge those grizzly bears. And a city called Winthrop, which is like a throwback to the 1870s. Like they still have the sidewalks that are made out of planks, and there's the Methow River that runs through there. Super beautiful place. I highly recommend it. Sun Valley Lodge is a place that if you want the higher end experience, you can stay. We actually just found a cabin in the woods and just relaxed. It was pretty excellent. How about you? What did you spend your last week of summer doing?
Well, I had a golf tournament, of course. It's a club championship time of year, so everybody's finishing up your final weeks of golf. But I enjoyed Bumper Shoot, the music festival, and the Sounders winning another trophy at home.
Nice. That trophy, I'm sorry to say, I haven't been paying as close attention to the Sounders, but this is not the regular season. This was something different.
Correct. Yeah. So the Sounders compete in the Major League Soccer League. This was not part of Major League Soccer or the MLS. This was Leagues Cup, which is it's the top 6 or 8 teams from the MLS. So the US based pro league and the Mexican pro league, Liga MX. So they just take the top teams from both leagues and they have them do a month-long tournament to crown essentially the champion of North America.
Gotcha. So is that used to be CONCACAF or is that different?
That's different. And that's another tournament that because we won this championship, will be in CONCACAF next year.
Oh, okay. All right. Didn't get to host it or something like that?
Yeah, it's a tournament that most likely will always be hosted in the US. But yeah, the CONCACAF brings in other nations other than just Mexico. So it's a collection of these little tournaments all get fed into CONCACAF. So really confusing. Don't beat yourself up.
Okay, I won't. But how many games did they get here at home?
We played, I think 4 out of the 5 games in this tournament we played at home.
That's awesome. And this last one, there was how many, like 70,000 fans?
Yes, 69,700, I think was the exact number. It beat the old record of the last MLS Cup final, and I believe it even topped Casey Keller's final game, which was like a monumental day.
Pretty big deal.
Soccer,
yeah. So Casey Keller was a goalie for the first Sounders team and pre-Sounders, right?
Yeah, and was like the best U.S. goalkeeper we've ever had. Played in the English Premier League. So
that's right.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, I loved it. Like we're just kind of small talking because we actually haven't talked all summer, and these are things that are what's amazing about the Seattle area. It's not just about the real estate and the numbers. We'll of course get into that. And so I entitled today's blog post "Big Changes to the Housing Market." So we have seen this coming. It's something that we watch because we watch the numbers. But, looking back at July's numbers, because we don't have August's complete because we just closed August, but July showed a lot of a huge surge of listings, both in Seattle and the East Side. What are you seeing from your standpoint over the last, month and a half, 2 months in the regards from a lending standpoint and inventory? What are you seeing?
Well, we've had an increase in applications. So there's been an uptick in buyer activity on our end, which starts at the application stage. So got people reaching out to get pre-approved and kind of starting the process. That 6 weeks ago started to pick up again.
So about 6 weeks. So the inventory surge happened before 6 weeks because the inventory was July. So we're August or maybe right around the same time. But I think what happened is people maybe recognize that rates are kind of where they are and oh my goodness, there's so many more homes available now. You think?
Yep, exactly. And that timing kind of correlates to when we had pretty good certainty of the next Fed rate cut. We've been anticipating the September cut is coming for a while, and the percentage has just slowly climbed. I think we're at 93% certainty today that they're going to cut rates next week. But about 4 or 5 weeks ago, there was enough confidence in that lenders were able to bring down rates about 0.5%. And so I think that's what spurred the buyer activity. And I think it was great real estate agents as well that have been saying, hey, let's get these homes ready. And when we start to see that rates are going to dip, let's get on the market right around that time. And so it's just all kind of lined up perfectly. And now I think that inventory is probably moving pretty quickly, just based on what we're seeing on our end.
Yeah. So essentially, the demand, based on what you're saying, is holding steady. So I think there's a lot of people, conversations that we've had maybe over the last 12 months where people are like, well, I'm just waiting for prices to fall. And, we're going to talk about prices here in just a second. But, when we're really focused on the interest rates being that moniker for going back into the business or into the market, based on your mortgage applications happening, that means people are ready to move forward. So they have a level of confidence in their employment. Are you seeing any wavering there?
Yeah. And if you look nationally, for sure, you're seeing contracts canceled because of that. People are a little skeptical about their job or inflation or the combination. Here in Seattle, or greater Seattle area, we don't see it as much. People feel pretty secure in their jobs. But definitely from a payment standpoint, buyers really need the data before they make an offer. You will see some pullback if the first time they're seeing the true payment is after they get under contract. They may, have the greater desire to pull out of that transaction, versus if we're really transparent and upfront and show buyers, if you go look at that home, here's your resulting payment, they're pretty much closing on those deals.
Are you seeing a price point where demand is pretty strong?
Lower price points for sure.
Obviously, but I mean, our median home price on the east side is 1.3. Is that where the majority of your applications are coming in at?
No, 600 to 800,000.
Okay. So if you are a seller and you have a property that's in that value range, so 600,000 to 800,000, we're talking Kent area, or we're talking maybe Snohomish.
Yeah, north of Bothell, Renton, and not even Renton, probably south of Renton.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, I have a home for sale in Renton, 750, right up the alley. So reach out to us. Okay, so
Renton's hot. I live in Renton myself, and we see things moving pretty quickly in Renton because it is that price point. It's not that people don't want the $1.2 or $1.3 million house; they just don't want the payment that comes with it.
Yeah.
So even though they may qualify up there, they're saying, "Hey, I don't want an $8,000 a month payment. I'd rather be around $400 to $500, which is that $600 to $800."
I gotcha. So when you are when you're seeing, I think the price points, the negotiations, are you seeing a lot of credits from the sellers in order to push along these deals, or even lower interest rates?
Yeah. And I'm afraid it might dry up soon. I just got off a call right before this, and we're in a multiple offer situation, and there is no ability to ask for anything. There's a full price offer on the table already. So if we are going to negotiate in seller credits, that means we're escalating above list price so that they net the full proceeds. But yeah, most transactions do have some level of seller concessions still. But I don't know that new inventory that hits the market, that will be true for. I think it's existing inventory that's been there, that's getting these concessions. The brand new homes with multiple offers are probably going to go back to where they were, where their full price offers are above with no concessions.
Wow. Yeah, I think that the unfortunate, maybe the ship has already sailed. We talked to 4 of our agents here in the Bothell office who reluctantly listed properties over the Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
They were like, but they really want us to get it on. And then they had tons of traffic over the Labor Day weekend. So I think that the new reality now, psychologically, and I'm just going to add this point here, prices staying steady, is we've probably seen the majority of the dip from, I would say, March of our peak was March of 2022 ish. Does that sound right? To 25. Yeah, I think we've seen most of the adjustments and dip, especially because what's happening in September, or we believe is happening in September.
Correct.
Jobs reports are coming back. What is that telling us? What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, so jobs report came out yesterday, and it showed a definite slowdown in the economy by the lack of jobs created. I don't want to misquote the numbers, but it was off. There were substantially less jobs created than what they were anticipating, which shows the economy cooling. Which, if we go back to Jerome Powell's press conference and this whole argument against the executive branch about what the Fed's true function is, it's two things: inflation and jobs. So if your only function is to create jobs and the economy lost jobs, to spur job growth, you lower the rates. You lower the cost of money, so employers get money cheaper. They can employ people, give them raises, and so forth. So it's, we'll see. There's been a lot of revisions to these reports. So are we going to get a revision between now and next week that will tell a different story? I don't know. But if that jobs number holds true, we should definitely get a rate cut next week.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain we're at the point where it makes sense. And you and I talked about this a while ago, that what that really does is it creates more cap investment, which increases wages. And I did a calculation. I'm going to share this with you. Let's see if I can find it. I was messing around with AI over the weekend, just kind of having a good time. And I asked this question: income needed for a family of 6 to I put in parameters to have a wonderful life. And I said, okay, you're starting at age, 20, in your 25s. How much do you need to earn? And then I added, okay, now if you want to put the 4 kids through college, okay, now I added, if you want to retire at 65. Do you happen to know what that number is that it gave me?
Is it an annual amount?
Annual income.
Shoot, for a household of 6, I would imagine if dual incomes needed, I would say 330,000.
Yeah, 330,000 was the beginning, and then I added the college, and then I added the retirement, and essentially it's income of about 410,000. Now, I was trying to get an idea of, like, do you start right at 410, or do you get to 410, and when do you get to 410? It was a little hard for me to get that number.
Yeah.
But something is going to have to change. That's not realistic, or everybody's going to have to make that kind of a wage in order to live. And I think that, if I wrote it as how are they going to thrive, not just get by. And the one thing I know about humans is we figure out a way, right? Yeah. In many cases, it's like going into debt, right? You go into debt and then you're upside down for however long, but you make it happen. I would just love to see a innovative solution. And I don't know. I think we need to really focus on how to change the housing market drastically in order to make it affordable. Because coming back from this, lowering interest rates, 25 bips, that will effectively really not do much in the long run. Because what I asked is, what would the GDP have to be in order for the people to be making that wage? And that's 8%. It's never been 8%. And that's 8% over the next 20 years, right? In order to move wages that high. So it's kind of like one of those things where you think, people are talking about AI replacing people's jobs and guaranteed income and all that stuff. I just think we have to just really figure out a way to innovate home building. That's probably the only way, is where we just have an abundance of homes. Yep. And then, affordability will change, but who knows? I don't know.
And I think that's possible with the chance that President Trump does a housing crisis. He has the ability to pull that lever. The last one was pulled in 2008, a national housing crisis, which basically opens the floodgates because it removes the red tape on building. And it basically says, we're in a housing crisis, so do what you need to do to build houses. So that's something that's on the table right now that they're monitoring to see if he does, put us in a true housing crisis.
I mean, that's really the case. We are in a crisis. People cannot, like first-time home buyers, working class people cannot afford to own a home. And we have plenty of place to build homes. We just have to figure out a way to do it quickly. And I love the environment. I love, like I said, Northwest, the North Cascades, Mountain Loop Highway. I want to keep all of that stuff there. But in order for us to handle the amount of immigration, growth, all of those things, we've got to have more homes. We got to figure a way. So, well, that concludes my point. Do you have any other topics, or what are you doing this weekend? Bumper Shoot's over with. No more summer, just back to work, or what?
It is back to work. I'm going to watch some football. Football's back.
Dude, I'm going to the 49ers game on Sunday. So let's hopefully.
So are you part of the 62% that's going to be in San Francisco 49ers gear? Or are you?
Come on now. Bite your tongue. You think 60%?
That was what I just went through a pick'em thing, and they are predicting that the stadium will be 62% full of San Francisco.
I have a friend who's a season ticket holder who I bought my tickets from, and he said that they are adamant that you not give your tickets to 49ers. Like they're saying they'll revoke your right to have seats because don't do that.
And we did that for the Sounders game. We have 3 tickets. And so I offered to bring a friend with me, but it was under the condition that he does not wear a Messi jersey. And in the stadium, if you were willing to give up your Messi jersey, they would give you a Paul Rothrock jersey in exchange for no cost.
Okay. I saw a video on that. I'm like, I don't understand. The kid gave away his Messi jersey. Are you kidding me?
Multiple. Yeah. There's actually been a couple of reels I've seen where, several kids did. Especially at the end of the game after we won 3-0.
So who's this guy, Paul Roth?
He's a Seattle-born kid. He came up through the Sounders Academy, and he's just like the pop culture icon of the team right now. He's young. He's got fun hair. He kind of gets under the other team's skin a little bit, so ruffles feathers. So he's just a fun guy to support.
I'm going to have to find on my various where do you find to watch? Is it on Fubo? Is it on where are the Sounders now?
Yes, mostly Apple TV.
Apple TV.
Yeah, it has the MLS rights.
The Plus, Apple Plus.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I have that. So okay. Yep. All right. Well, hey Tucker, thank you for coming on today. Great conversation. Look forward to many more.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dan.
Have a good one.